What's up, everyone? What's my story today? Today was an interesting day, actually. So it's been a kind of a stressful time for us because we're going through a move. We're moving to another house, and so every day has been long days. And part of moving is a big part of moving actually is decluttering. I find that yes, with all the things that are associated with moves, the stress, the difficulties, and just all the work that's involved with moving. One good thing that you can take from that is actually looking at all your stuff, assessing it, and then deciding what you need, what you don't need. So, back to my point about decluttering, I put some items out on Facebook Marketplace for sale. And one of the items I put was an old leather jacket I had. I mean, it's an old leather jacket, but it's in really good shape. It's a white, sort of biker style, race bike style jacket. And I wore that thing, maybe a handful of times. And that was probably going back about, 20 years ago. It was from a store called Danier Leather, which no longer exists, but in Toronto, it was a big, popular, high quality leather store. And so I put this jacket ad on, and what I did with the ad was the first line in the ad. I thought, let me do something a little bit more creative and something funny, rather than just saying selling jacket, white leather jacket, blah blah blah, very standard sort of ad. So what I said was, I said, "Are you thinking of joining that boy band? Well, you're not going to do it without this jacket." And the funny thing is, if you see this jacket, it looks very much like what you would wear in a boy band, or even one of these new K-pop style bands. Like it would be something that one of the members would use. So anyhow, I got a few responses to the ad, but one response in particular kind of stuck out, and the person that wrote it was a guy named Gray, and he said, your ad really stuck out when I saw it. And so, he asked me about the jacket, and he said he was on a limited budget because he was a developing artist, and I didn't know what that meant. So I asked him, what does it mean? What do you mean by developing artist? What is that? And he said, well, I dance and I sing, and I'm performing on the street right now, and I'm trying to perfect my craft. I said, oh, that's pretty cool. So then I thought to myself, you know what? If I'm going to sell this jacket at a discount, I'd rather give it to somebody like this who I've actually had a little bit more of a conversation with, rather than just somebody who's responding to the ad and saying, I'll give you X number of dollars for it, lowballing or whatever it is. So I said, you know what? Yeah, I'll sell it to you, but if you can come and pick it up. So this young guy came by. He said he was going to be about an hour and a half, and I didn't realize, but he was taking the public transit to come and meet me at my place to essentially get the jacket. And so I was like, wow, an hour and a half. That's quite a commitment for something like this. He must really like the jacket. So I met him. He came by today. Really nice guy. And what I noticed when I first met him was I asked him, how his day was going. He kind of paused. He paused, and he just he said it's okay, but the way he said it, I could see that there was pain in his eyes, and kind of made me feel like, you know, he was trying to, play off that everything was okay, but, deep down, maybe things weren't all that well for him. So I just asked him, I hope everything's okay. And I told him, life's difficult. I'm kind of going through something myself, and I understand. I understand what it's like. And I could see that by talking to him in that way, and, just being real with him, he was starting to look like he was emotional, a little bit emotional, but he was also, I think, grateful that somebody was actually listening to him and concerned about, what was going on with him, and not just, here's the jacket, give me the money, end of transaction, let's go off on our way. And it's these little things, and I don't believe in coincidences, where when you meet somebody, you meet, I think everything happens for a reason in life. And in this case, I don't know what will come out of meeting this young gentleman, but he seems like a kid that I would really want to know. I would like to follow his story and see what happens. So I asked him. I told him about the channel, and I'm hoping that one day, if he's interested, he would want to come and share the story with us. And so I told him about the channel, and he is going to check it out. He said he'll look into it, and I'm not going to put any pressure if he wants to come and speak. I'd love it. I'd love to hear his story and see where he ends up. But one thing I did say to him before he left was that I know he told me he was very passionate about the singing and the dancing. I said, you know what? No matter what, even if that's not what you went to school for, if it brings you joy and passion, you should do it. Because I did watch a video the other day where the person in the video said that you can't find peace in life unless you're doing something that you're passionate about. And I relayed that same message to him, and I think it made him think about that. So if for you guys as well out there, if there's something that you're passionate about, and maybe it's not what everybody around you is saying you should do or you should pursue, but you know what, if you're passionate about it, I say at least give it a try. You'll regret not ever trying it. And on that note, that's my story for the day. I hope you share yours too. I'd love to hear it. Have a good night. Bye bye.